Fraser, tomorrow we've got the budget. We're in a very different place from when the Chancellor last got to the dispatch box. Can you just set the scene for us? What are we likely to expect from him, big picture-wise?
I mean, you're right that a lot's changed. This is the first budget that we've actually had in 18 months, but more importantly, it's the first one that we've had since the autumn statement. So since Jeremy Hunt came in after the mini budget that brought down Liz Truss, that was only 6 months ago. So the context of the budget is that return to stability that Rishi Sunak and Jeremy Hunt have been so focused on over the last 6 months. You're right that things have changed. So the UK is not in recession, which it was predicted to be a few months ago. There's also borrowed less than was thought 6 months ago, but borrowed significantly more than was planned before the mini budget. So the Chancellor finds himself under pressure from business groups and from MPs to go further than he had planned to do 6 months ago, but also knows that Labour are 20 points ahead in the polls and starting to make the weather on all this.
What can we expect from the Chancellor for business investment? We've had a lot of talk about the need for the right signals. Are we going to get those from the Chancellor?
Well, again, a lot of the decisions the Chancellor has to make are really about what does he do next after the decisions he made in the autumn statement. So he signalled that there'd be big changes to R&D tax credits for small businesses. A lot of them have said this will have a massive impact on them. So is he going to be able to do something to mitigate the impact of that? The super deduction, which has very generous allowances for businesses to expense money that they spend on plant and machinery, that's coming to an end. What's going to come to replace that? There's also changes that he's made to corporation tax, so scrapping the planned corporation tax at 19%, increasing it to 25%. Is that going to stay the same? Possibly not for small businesses, but for the majority of businesses, yes, it will. So again, he's under a lot of pressure to try and make changes where he can, but is it going to be enough for his backbenchers? And is it going to look too managerial as opposed to the big talk that Labour are having at the moment? So what about the green agenda? What can we expect to hear from the Chancellor on that?
Well, the government has faced significant pressure to reignite the debate on the green agenda and push forward energy policy. You know, green businesses that are leading the net zero agenda and the energy industry are desperate for a bit of policy direction. And moving into the budget, we're going to see the government put forward their election strategy and gain ground from Labour. Labour have come out and really targeted the green vote. Over the weekend, we saw Rachel Reeves go out and talk about the opportunities for hydrogen, green steel, carbon capture and storage. So they're really focusing on the opportunities that the green agenda can provide and opportunities for green jobs. In the context of Hunt and the budget, there's a couple of challenges first. So energy policy has been a bit disjointed so far. We've got target sets, ambitious targets, but there's not the delivery plan in place to meet those targets. And then the investment landscape is quite challenging. If we look at wind farms, for example, they're faced with the fact that planning works against them. It takes a long time to get projects off the ground. Because of inflation, supply chain costs are skyrocketed. And then with the electricity generation levy, projects are now in jeopardy. So it's a very challenging investment landscape for renewable energy. Now with the context that the US has got their $370 billion green subsidies funds, you know, we're seeing businesses pull out and move to the US. So the challenge for the Chancellor is how does he keep business here and attract new business? So we're going to see him announce 20 billion for carbon capture and low carbon energy projects. But the problem is that the Treasury don't have a lot of headroom. So there's the ambition to deliver on the green agenda, but there isn't the financial space. So we're probably going to see the Chancellor talk about the opportunities for net zero and green investment and a lot of warm words and long-term signals, but not short-term gains.